reflections that lie there in that old curiosity
Well, hi everyone, I'm Scott from the Old Curiosity Shop, and I'm back in the kitchen for a tiny little piece of a kitchen counter thrift haul. Not a lot to show you today, but look at those colors, and we're talking about porcelain and pottery and lusterware, so let's see what's what. Now, I bought this because I'm hoping it will appeal to somebody maybe down in Georgia. Don't you y'all refer to yourselves as Georgia peaches? Anyway, that looks like a peach to me. I like peaches. This is a beautiful German plate, and it's called 3 Crown China, made in Germany. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a tiny little sort of a spider stress crack right there in the back to the right of the mark. Now, you don't see it at all on the front, and I've studied it pretty closely, so I think it's just pretty much a glaze crack that has gotten dirty over the years. But it's a decorative plate anyway, probably something you would just hang on the wall. I thought it was pretty, and so I bought it and put it in the Old Curiosity Shop. Now this piece right here is beautiful. It's a piece of lusterware. The only damage on it is right there. There's a tiny little pinprick spot where right here, where the finish has come off. You could doctor that up if you wanted to. This is a piece of Noritake. We can see the mark on the bottom. It's Art Deco when you look at it from here. Wonderful Art Deco paintwork on it. And on the back, and these wonderful peanuts on the inside. So we're going to call it a nut dish, I think, anyway. Let me try to zoom in on that. A really pretty silver handle, and I love the way they've painted the inside of the dish with the peanuts. Okay, so do you see that? That's kind of nice. Then this big guy back here, from what I can tell, it's a Satsuma or Satsuma style vase, and with what would be the ivory base here, and then the brown color with the moriage on the outside. Lots of gilding on it, highly decorated, beautifully done, and probably dates to the 1920s. The interesting thing about this, and it's just my guess, there's no damage on it, by the way, but I'm going to show you the Made in Japan. Hold on for a second. The Made in Japan stamp right there didn't quite take. And so I think during one of the firings, someone in the factory just stuck on this paper Made in Japan label, which is actually under a thin coat of glaze. I know that looks like tape residue, but it's actually glaze. And I think somebody did that in the factory so that there wouldn't be any problems when it came to this pot being imported into the United States. Since Made in Japan didn't quite get stamped all the way, they went and stuck that paper label on there. So again, I think it was done in the factory before the final firing, so that it would be properly marked for export. But look at the beautiful colors on this. None of these folks look like they're very happy. They must be stuck in the Northeast heat wave, which has come back again. We were over it for a couple of days, but boy, is it back. So anyway, that's a nice piece in really good condition. I can't find any damage on that at all. There's some glaze crazing, which you see on this type of pottery, but really gorgeous. Here's another one, not quite as fancy, a lot smaller, but again from that 1920s, 30s era. And this one is very nice as well. A little dirty on the inside, so, but that's because it's been used. And that's got the gold highlights on it as well. Alright, sticking with the Japan pieces, here's a nice piece of lusterware from the late 20s into the 30s. Beautiful colors and an interesting stylized flower there. The typical, some of the most common lusterware colors are right here, this sort of peach and whatever you want to call that other color, in between blue and gray and purple and teal and whatnot. Those are the two colors that I see most frequently in lusterware. But here we have gold handles on either side and this beautiful flower, nice and shiny. I'll let you see the bottom. That's actually a piece of Noritake, and that's going to date from the late, 1925 to 1935, something like that. Here are two little luster, I guess they're not pelicans, they're some type of bird. It doesn't say Japan on the bottom. Lusterware was made in Germany and Poland and other countries as well, so they could be Japanese. Now here is the wonderful Tressmann and Vogt sardine plate, which probably dates to sometime from the 1890s to about 1915, somewhere in there. Now we see on the back, don't break it. Alright, I won't. I know you're so nervous with me dangling it over this granite countertop. I haven't broken anything on this countertop yet. Alright, focus. There we go. T&V Limoges, France, Deco, which I think simply means, oh rats, I forget. Has something to do with patents and trademarks and whatnot. You guys probably remember, but I have forgotten. Tressmann and Vogt, V-O-G-T, made in the Limoges area of France, and then it's signed there by Mitchell, I think. Notice the sea green color on the back of the plate. Tressmann and Vogt is the company that made the porcelain. They did do some of the decorating, but a lot of it was shipped out to other companies who did the decorating and then sold it, and sometimes put their names on the back as well. From what I can tell, it is a sardine dish. The sardines would go here, and lemon wedges in the top part, and there you go. There's a little tab right there, so you can easily lift this up and pass it. And really very well painted. I've seen a few other examples, but I have to say, I think that out of all the examples I've seen, the paintwork on this one is really outstanding. It's a one-of-a-kind, all hand-painted. You're not going to find another one just like it. Do you see that? And we've got some wonderful shells up here. It's just very beautifully done. And it's gilded as well. So that's probably the most expensive piece of everything here that I have listed in the old curiosity shop. We'll see what happens. Here's a little lusterware set, tea set. These are pretty common and I normally don't buy them, but I liked the colors on this. Somewhat unusual for lusterware colors. Not rare, not hard to find, but not the typical sort of peach and whatever color you want to call that. This is a little more delicate, and I like it a lot. Paper thin is this porcelain, just absolutely paper thin, and there are no problems on any of this. No chips, no cracks. You get 4 cups and saucers, a creamer, and a sugar. Now what's missing? Well, the little teapot is missing, but I have the lid to the teapot. It's somewhere else around this place. I have to go and dig it out. How do I happen to have the lid? Well, somebody was using the lid on this creamer, and this creamer never had a lid. In fact, the lid that they had on here, which belongs to the teapot, has a hole in it, obviously for the teapot, not meant to be used on the creamer. So anyway, this is complete. I'll throw the lid into the teapot, and you can spend fun-filled hours trying to replace that teapot. Maybe you'll find it, or just stick another lusterware teapot with it. But look how pretty those colors are, don't you think? And then I think the backs, yeah, the backs are just plain yellow. So that's pretty. Now I brought these two guys out again. I tried to sell them once before, and nothing happened because there's damage. It is a matching pair. Someone suggested that maybe it's not, but they didn't necessarily make both pieces in the same color. I think they're women playing some type of stringed instrument. They happen to have bobbed hair, so these are probably going to date to the mid-20s to the mid-30s. This one is in excellent condition, but this one was decapitated. She must have not been playing her lute very well, or she was in the French Revolution. Let's see if we can show you. Someone glued her back together again. Now bear with me while I get down here and show you the damage. Alright, she's got a dirty neck. You see that line right there? Let's just say it's a necklace. It's actually where her head was broken off and she was glued back on. It's a clean break, an even break. You can barely see it here on the back, where her head was glued back on. So you don't really see the damage except for the glue line there around her neck, which really looks like a necklace. So that's the reason why I thought, well, I'm just going to go ahead and relist these. The only other thing somebody did down here was their best attempt at scratching off Made in Japan, and that's where the Made in Japan letters were printed on the under the lusterware. And you know, as I mentioned once before, there was a time in our history when Made in Japan, you would laugh at Made in Japan. And I can remember in the 1970s, you were embarrassed to buy something or give a gift that was Made in Japan, and you would rip Made in Japan off. You didn't want anybody to know, because Made in Japan was synonymous with cheap and inferior. Anybody remember that? I certainly do. It was a laugh if it was made in Japan. So somebody did not want to be reminded that these were made in Japan. They have a really nice look and as lusterware, so they're back up for sale. As I said, I don't normally buy items that have damage. In fact, my rule is if there is a chip where you put your lip, forget it. Alright, so I don't buy chipped items where we're going to be drinking from, putting our lips, and there's certain other things I won't buy if it's chipped. I had to rescue this little set right here, and I hope somebody falls in love with it the way I did. But there's damage, and I'm going to show it to you. Really nice. Wouldn't this be great for fall? Even just as a decoration. The teapot, the creamer, and the sugar. And I love how this creamer actually does have a lid. You don't normally see lids on creamers. So here's the apple sugar bowl, the little creamer, and the teapot. Now where's the damage? Well, the damage is, let me get down here where I can show it to you, on both of these lids. Turn these both around, and I know it just went out of focus. We'll get back in there. little chip right there on the top of that lid. I would color it in with a little nail polish, put a little clear coat over, and be happy with it. Another little chip right there on that handle on that lid. Otherwise, that's it. I love how they put the little dimples there. Now, this is just some residue that I have that I keep picking at. It does come off easily. It's just some old tape that somebody used, and that comes right off. So anyway, the little sugar bowl and the creamer are fine except for those cracks, those tiny little chips on the handles on the lids. Now we have a more serious problem with this pot back here, but you could do some repair work. Again, this is just tape residue, not a crack, and you can see it's scratching right off. No chips on the handle, no chip on the lid, no chip on the spout. But around here on the back side, we have a crack right there. And you can also see that there's a little bit of missing, this thing was whacked against something, and a little bit of the pottery has chipped out of there. Now I know some of you know how to do these repairs, and I'm going to leave it up to the new owner to do that repair. Whether you put a little bit of pottery in there or a little bit of epoxy and then paint over it, but that's the little chip, crack right there, and it's clean on the inside. And I don't know, but whether you can see, there's the top of the crack right there. Not happy that it's there, but certainly it was worth saving this piece anyway, or these pieces. Now, it's very lightweight. I guess you would, I don't know what you call it, soft paste, or just fired at a rather low temperature type of ceramic pottery. And the only mark on the bottom is something that was written on there that might have been a price, but I can't see whether it's Japan or not, or whether it was American made. But a cute set which I had to save. This actually I paid about $6 for it, just out of love, and I went ahead and listed it in the Old Curiosity Shop, I think at $12. So I'm not trying to make a whole lot of money off of it, but I'm hoping somebody will fall in love with it and purchase it and give it a new life. Well, that's it. I'll let you see everything again. I'll back up some pretty porcelain, china, and pottery for you in the Old Curiosity Shop. I hope everyone has a nice weekend. I don't know when I'm filming this and what day it goes live, so I'll just say thanks for watching, and so long for now.